YouTube Nation, Maven TV, aka me TV, aka Common Sense. It isn't so common these days, and you know what? After the week I've taken off pretty much, before doing another gaming video, it seems like the companies, they get worse and worse. I don't understand this. It just seems like things are going to get worse, and these companies, they don't care. They just don't anymore. And I'm going to talk about this because what you guys have to realize that your gaming community is being exploited because companies want to branch out into bigger things now, and it has nothing to do with gaming. And we've already seen this before, but guys, you have to understand that not only are you being exploited, but now you're being blamed. That's right, for gaming's innovation, the lack of, I should say, gaming's innovation. So we're going to talk about that today, guys, all right? So I want to say thank you guys for watching the show. Thank you for sending me information. Today, as usual, we're going to start off with EA and their bullshit. So let's get into this, okay? Now, EA, for guys and girls, all right? EA promotes partnership with real-world weapons manufacturers in Medal of Honor Warfighter by letting gamers buy the real thing. That's right. Now they're trying to sell you guns. You have to be kidding me. Look, we know how this is. We already know how the media feels when it comes to video games linked to violence, all right, and all the so-called experts and studies and everything. We know how this goes. Why would you do this? This is ridiculous. Now, look, I want to say also that the writer of the article, they talk about this, how there's a fine line between this and how you can't break the fourth wall, as he says, all right? You can't break the fourth wall and bring the real world, gaming into the real world. We've talked about this before, how with graphics, everything is starting to look more real than it is an escape from reality. All right, they're trying to bring more realism. Now they're trying to cross over to real guns. This is ridiculous. Now look, we talked about this a little bit more not too long ago. Was it in the Call of Duty video I did, the gameplay video? You heard all the kids talking and the way they were acting. And as we know, children are very impressionable. You can influence them very much. And I know a lot of you guys are going to say, but there's laws that stop you from selling guns to kids. Yes, there are. All right, like I said, I want to make this clear. This is not about a gun debate or gun restrictions or anything like that. That's not what this is about today. Okay, guys? This is about common sense. You don't try to sell real guns with video games. You just don't. It's common sense. I know somebody's going to come in here and say, oh, it's not a big deal what EA's trying to do. It is a big deal. All right? We've already seen the leaps and bounds that they've taken already this generation where people will say it's not a big deal, and then it becomes a big deal. And now the monster can't be stopped, and we're going to talk about that. All right? But like I said, this is something that, you don't blame the kids for. If this happens, you blame the parents for buying these type of games, right? All right, and as we all know, if something happens, the parents are going to blame the games, even though they're the ones that bought it for their kids. We know that. But you have to understand that this is something, if you ask me, is a fireable offense, all right? If you ask me. And you can say, that's too much. No, it's not. You should not even be thinking that this is okay. This is not, look, and the thing is, EA responds to the outrage because there was a big backlash to this, right? And they're responding saying, well, we were only doing it for charities for those soldiers, to sell guns via internet or whatever. Look, I'll put it like this, and another guy said it as well, all right? If you're going to do a charity, you take the proceeds from your game, all right? Because that's what this should be about, gaming. EA, you're a video game company. That's what you are. This should be about gaming. Take some of those proceeds, those profits from your game, because we all know Medal of Honor is going to sell, and give it to them then. That's what you do for charity. Or you hold some type of charity event, for gamers who play, in marathons or things like that nature. That's what you do. You don't go and try to sell real guns. What the hell's wrong with you? But I know, like I said, there will be some people that will come in and say, it's okay. Now I want to talk about a little bit more about control, all right? And not gun control, but control in general. For those who don't know, Origins goes into about every platform that it can reach. That's right. So we're going to talk about this because now we already know how bad Origins is. We've seen in the past year or so what it's done, tax documents, filing tax documents and all this type of stuff. Now Origins is getting ready to branch out to Facebook, Mac, smart TVs, mobile phones. This is going big for EA. And we said this before. Last year, whenever it was getting ready to get started, we had said you have to stop this before it gets big because if not, this is going to take over. And now we're in takeover mode. That's what's going on. EA has pretty much taken over. And I'll say this, because stupid gamers had to have their game and just hit the OK button when they signed their stuff away, and then what happened? They wanted to play online. That's what this came down to. All right, we've seen all the little shiesty little deals with EA. Oh well, if we'll give you Star Wars: The Old Republic for free for a while, for a weekend, but you have to sign up for Origins. That's how they would get you. We've seen all these type of things before. okay? But now it's getting worse. That's right. Now, I want to talk about this a little bit more because the BF3 app key that's coming out, now everyone's getting all hype about it. They want, check this out, this is the app. Your basic info, okay? Email address, okay? They want your groups, your photos, and your videos. We have seen this time and time again. This is not about video games. This is about how they can market you, how they can sell you to third-party buyers. Guys, you have to understand, if you're not reading your terms of service, they can sell your name to whoever. You have to understand that, right? To whoever your third-party and the partners are. But it seems like people don't read these things. You do have rights. You understand that, right? They try to say you can't sue them. Then then people who said anything remotely bad about a product, they would ban from the service. You couldn't play your game online or offline. Now they've lifted the offline part, all right? But we've seen this time and time again. We've seen it with Battlefield 3, Medal of Honor. You saw Mass Effect 3. They would just ban you if you said anything remotely bad about a product. Any Dragon Age 2, anything. You have to understand you were giving them way too much power, way too much. Now, this is something interesting, all right? Because Bioware, they say that gamers want day one DLC. They want it. Now, when news broke, a lot of people were upset. They were, because we've been doing this for how long? And talking, if you read the comments, we don't want day one DLC. We want a complete game, and that's it. We're tired of being nickeled and dimed. You know, just do it the way you want to do it. You know what I mean? When it comes to giving us a complete game. And some of you said, even if you want to charge us a little bit more, that would be fine. All right? But then as we see, they keep raking out this DLC, and it gets ridiculous. All right? And then some of the stuff is not even worth it. All right? And I'm not just talking about EA or Bioware or Mass Effect or something like that. I'm talking about people who buy costumes and buy, like, it's not worth it because it's not worth the, you know, the stuff it's on. Then we find out the stuff is on the disc, and there are a lot of shiesty tactics when it comes to DLC. Okay, just a lot. I'm not going to get into all of them, all right, but you get the gist of it. But here's the thing. So many people are saying, no, people want complete games, but then you have stupid fans who have been programmed to think that this is how things are. Now we're starting to see that they actually do want day one, DLC. Now, the picture you just saw was a discussion between two different gamers on WWE 13. And the one guy was mad that there wasn't a lot of DLC that you could buy at day one. And then as soon as somebody tries to correct them and say, no, they're giving you a complete game for a complete price, people start thumbing down their comments. What is going on here? Now we look down on complete games? What is happening? I don't understand this. And yet, when the lines are divided when it comes to these type of things, or, you know, the classic one, you know, you don't like the game I like, this just causes more ruckus between the community. There's no point of it. There's no reason. I don't understand this, but you know what? We're going to keep going because on the DLC front, Sleeping Dogs, I know a lot of people like Sleeping Dogs, you know, and they think it's great. What I saw, I thought was great, but now it's come down the pipe that 6 months of DLC has been planned for this game. So they're going to nickel and dime you all the way down. I put it like this, all right, 6 months worth, just wait for a Game of the Year edition, or a complete edition, or whatever edition they like to call it these days, all right, for the lower price. I don't understand this, but that's not all. EA Sports Head admits that Madden, that's right, the franchise, was not as innovative as other games, but yet people will still buy it. Watch, they'll still buy it. It doesn't matter. And I also want to keep going on the sports thing. I have to talk about this a little bit more about how you guys are being exploited. 2K admits that they want to focus more on music, culture, and entertainment rather than fixing their game. That's right. And they go on talking about Jay-Z. And I want to get into this, all right? Because they talk about Jay-Z and how putting his name out there as an executive producer was only to grab a demographic. So no longer is it about the game, even though you should be working on your game and your online. You should, but you don't care about that, EA. But this is something very interesting that EA had to say in the quote, all right? Because it says, he's going to be very involved in the streamline capacity. This isn't about Jay-Z promoting himself or us promoting him. It's about his involvement in the creative standpoint. You won't be seeing him in the center of any of our ad campaigns or anything like that. That's what 2K said. Really, 2K? Well, then why did you release this trailer not too long ago?
A champion never rests, never stops, never settles. So we didn't.
Allow me to reintroduce myself. My name is
NBA 2K13, executive produced by Jay-Z.
Really, 2K? Stop your lying. You're using Jay-Z to bring another demographic, and we all know what that means, all right, bringing a demographic in so that you can sell more. You're not even trying to sell basketball games anymore at this point. And if anyone's looked online when it comes to YouTube, there's so many people who have pretty much picked this game apart, all right, and how it's just so bad, 2K13. But I guarantee you, even with them admitting this, people will still buy it. They still will. And that's the sad part. I'm just waiting for someone to have an ounce of integrity. Seriously, they're telling you to your face. And you know what, here's the thing. When they admit things and they tell you these things to your face and you still buy it, you can't even blame the companies anymore. You can't even, because that goes down to personal responsibility now. It really does. But that's not all. We're going to talk some more about this, all right? Jade Raymond, that's right. She says that gamers expecting perfection make for blander games. First off, I don't remember gamers expecting for perfection, all right? However, I will say this. If these games and you companies would stop hyping these games up to the moon like they're the second coming, then you wouldn't expect perfection. That's what it comes down to. You have to understand that you've created this monster. That's what you've done. You've done this. Like, how much, I'm going to say this. Battlefield 3, how much was the ad campaign for that? You could have made 2 or 3 games off of that ad campaign money, all right? But yet, they decide to use all that money and try to sell it to go up against Modern Warfare. You do understand that you have caused your own problem, and now that you can't, control it, now you want to start blaming people. When these games falter and they don't sell well, you blame us consumers. But as soon as these games, they do well and they know it's success, you're to be the first, and you've seen the pictures, all right, when it came to Blizzard. You pop champagne, you congratulate each other, you act like rock stars because you want to be Hollywood. That's what it comes down to. But like I said, as soon as it fails, you'll be quick to jump on us about it because we didn't buy into your product. You've got to be kidding me. I understand Jade Raymond is going to back the industry because she works in it, but that's pathetic. That is absolutely pathetic. Do not blame gamers expecting perfection. Lower your budgets. That's what you have to do. Stop hyping this shit up to the moon and you won't have to worry about it. I'm just saying. Anyways, I want to talk about more idiots here. Because Pachter, it's funny because he calls Nintendo fans idiots even though he's the idiot, all right? That's right. Michael Pachter, we've talked about him before. You know how bad he is, and yet people still watch him. I don't understand this. But this is what one gamer had to say because he goes on to talk about how you Nintendo fans are idiots for just buying anything that has Nintendo on the box, all right? Now, mind you, Pachter does this himself with Apple. But anyways, we're going to get to this. This is what a couple gamers had to say on some forums that I was looking through, okay? One guy says he's an analyst and an investment firm. He only handles a few companies, stocks, and Nintendo isn't one of them. Because a lot of people had to ask, why is he always bagging on Nintendo? We all seen this before. Then he says he also wants to be quoted so he can get his name recognized by investors. Because of this, he makes outrageous statements about Nintendo to stir up controversy for the sake of recognition. It says he doesn't try to be right when he talks about Nintendo. He only tries to be bold, right? Another gamer says, Pachter's just pissed that every single prediction he's made about Nintendo products are wrong. He says the DS will fail. It becomes the second best-selling video game system ever. He says the Wii will fail. It becomes the best system, the best console, selling console this generation. He says the 3DS will skyrocket at launch, and the launch price is too low. It says it does less than what Nintendo expects, and then gets an $80 price drop. So it goes to show you that Pachter doesn't know what he's talking about. And it says people ask why Pachter has a gripe against Nintendo. Then another person says, I think this is exactly right. Pachter is completely clueless about Nintendo's business model works, what makes them succeed or fail, and this frustrates him to the point of resentment. Which is very interesting that you would say that because Pachter has done this before. I even showed you the video where he said Star Wars: The Old Republic wouldn't go free to play, and then when it went free to play, he turned around and said, "Well, free to play is the future," and things. He doesn't know what he's talking about. He's constantly wrong, yet people still watch him and still follow him. I don't understand this. Why? Is it because that game trailers, promotes him? Is that it? Is it because he has that backing? What is it? Because he's constantly wrong, and yet people. I don't understand this. Anyways, I want to talk a little bit more about Nintendo. For those who don't know, Nintendo is charging more for the digital copy of New Super Mario Bros. 2 than the retail. That's a problem. I thought this whole digital thing was supposed to be about, you don't have to worry about the physical copies and the disc and the manufacturing and all that, so the cost would be cheaper, right? But yet you're charging more now. At first, at one point, like with Sony, you were charging on par with the stuff. Now you're charging more. So you're lying. That's what it comes down to. And it's not just Nintendo, it's all the companies when it came to this. You're lying. I don't know how many times you can keep doing this. And I want to talk about also last gaming video, we talked about gay gamers, and I talked about how I didn't understand why you want your own, convention or, be separate from other gamers, because you all, like I said, you want to be, with the rest of us, but then you alienate yourselves, and a lot of you commented about it, and we talked about it, which is cool. I don't have a problem with that. And then the convention happened, and then the Westboro Baptist Church came out of nowhere and protested the gay gamers. That's right. Now look, we all know the Westboro Baptist Church, first off, it shouldn't even have the word church in it, all right? Because you shouldn't be going around, God hates gays, and it only loves us, and we hate you. Come on, man. Come on. You're doing this for attention. And you know what? It's funny because Kevin Smith, I think, said it best, all right, in his stand-up, when he talked about how when they tried to protest his movie, what he would do is get a group of people together to come in obnoxious clothing or just out there and just really weird signs and stand next to them or oppose to them and also protest it with them to make it look silly to downplay the situation, which actually worked. All right, these people should not be taken seriously. It's a group of people who just love to, they're real life trolls. They really are. They like to go to places and just protest anything. They shouldn't be taken seriously. It's sad that for a convention that's supposed to bring people together, regardless of what lifestyle you have, you know what I mean? It's supposed to bring people together and have fun, and you're turning it into something it shouldn't be. That's really damn wrong. Really wrong. All right, now, I want to talk about this also. We talked about a little bit of WWE 13 not too long ago, but it has been confirmed that WWE WrestleFest, I know some of you guys remember WrestleFest, for the Xbox 360, PC, and PS3 is coming. But for those who do not remember WrestleFest, let's look at the old school arcade version of WrestleFest. those are some good times, man. I remember playing that in the arcade, and I put it like this. Even though the version that's coming out now, it's a remake, so you're going to have all these new wrestlers, I'm still interested to see how they pull it off. I really am. Now, I heard it's already out for the iOS or whatever. I'll have to look into that. I don't want to buy it, but like I said, if it comes to console and it's pretty good and has online play so that everyone can just play around and, you know, dick around and have fun, I think I'd be for that. And I would use my fighting stick, too. That would be great. But all right, I need to move on because Diablo 3, that's right, we got to talk about this real quick. The Starter Edition is now available free of charge to all players, all right? We all know how this goes. They've lost so many people when it comes to their game because, you know, no one was happy with it because of either online connection or, you know, some of the things that they had tactics-wise. You know, they tried to build as a company like the auction houses and things of that nature. Well, a lot of people have left. Now it's available free of charge, but you know how this goes. It'll be available free of charge, and then once you get hooked, you're going to have to start to pay. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. What I'm saying is be very aware of what's going on, what you're getting yourself into, okay? Now, also want to talk about Blizzard because their servers have been hacked and some personal information have been compromised. Now, I'm sure in this article it'll be updated or whatever, but if you are part of this community in Blizzard and their servers, by all means, please, you know, protect yourself and your information. No, you know, change passwords, do what you got to do. You know what I mean? Also, I want to move on. Steam is going beyond gaming by adding non-gaming software. Steam is branching out now. All right? Like I said, it's not about gaming anymore, people. They're just giving you more offers. That's pretty much what it is. But I know a lot of people are still upset with the, you know, the you can't sue us thing. So I definitely understand that as well. I also want to move on. Epic buys Gears of War Judgment developer People Can Fly. So once again, you know how this goes. We're just going to keep buying out people. And as I said, it's not just Epic. It's a lot of companies. The bigger companies, they keep picking off these, you know, smaller companies, and we have lack of competition these days. That's what it comes down to. And so we see the same games coming down the pipe, and they say, oh, but gamers keep buying them. Hey, you know what I mean? It pretty much is, you know, 50-50. It really is. But also, Konami refuses to patch the Xbox 360 version of Silent Hill HD. That's right, but patches the PS3 version. Now, I know a lot of you Xbox 360 fans are upset about this, and you have every right to be. All right, you do. But they're trying to say that what we'll do is they're going to give you, if you bought the game at a certain amount of time, at a certain time, you'll get a free game. And a lot of you guys saying you don't want a free game. You want the game that you bought fixed. I don't blame you. I don't blame you at all. This is a problem that needs to be fixed. Konami, you have to fix this. You have to. It's just absolutely wrong that you would do it. I'm sure the article will be updated as well. Now, I want to move on because DayZ, I know a lot of you, not Jay-Z, DayZ. I understand that a lot of you guys are very happy about it, and now it has become a standalone project. That's right, so you can get ready for that. Also, in more news about Black Ops 2, for PC, there will be no dedicated servers for zombies. Just to let you guys know. Also, there's a PC SX2, which is a PlayStation 2 emulator. The public version 1.0 has been released for you PC guys. Just to let you know that. All right. Also, if you don't use your Dragon X Quest character online, it will get erased. All right. There's a nice article in there about it. So if you play that game, by all means, if you haven't played it in a while or whatever, by all means, do the necessary things you need to keep your character if you care about your character. Okay. Now, this is funny because Assassin's Creed director claims that journalists and reviewers are too soft on Japanese developers. Are you serious? Are you serious? So let me get this straight. So today gamers have been blamed for lack of innovation. Now they're blaming the reviewers for being too soft because they're so hard on them. Does anybody take any responsibility when it comes to making these games? Anybody? I mean, seriously, it's very rare that we've seen a company say, you know what, yeah, we fucked up. We fucked up. It's very rare that we see it. It seems like, I understand the company doesn't want to look bad, but when you've done something, you really have to just step up and say it, all right? Like I said, even though 2K came out and admitted that, even though EA came out and admitted that about Madden, like I said, you can't blame them at this point because they're being upfront. They're being upfront with you. They're being honest with you, unlike any other time, you know? So I can't front that, you know, you can't get mad at them on that situation anymore. But it seems like there's other people who just keep complaining about this person. It's everyone but them. Yeah, I'm sure you know a couple people who are like that too. I'm sure a lot of people know that. So, also Ubisoft says fuck EA. Yeah, they say fuck EA. I don't know where. Apparently, and I'm gonna put the link in the info bar. There were some presentations that they did. There was a message as fuck EA. So I'm gonna put that in here for you guys. Okay, it's to a forum, but they have the videos in the forum so that you can see it. Okay. Also, I want to talk about this because you guys sent me this. A blind man plays Mortal Kombat. That's right. He played in the tourney. Now I'll put it like this. When you guys sent me the video, it was taken down. That's right. So I searched and searched. I went to other places who also had it, and those videos were taken down. I don't know what's going on. Why is this person's video, or the competition? Because, he went up against certain people in the competition. Why were they taken down? Is there something that I don't know? Maybe I just couldn't find it. I don't know. But it just seems like every time I tried to show you guys this video because I wanted to download and show you guys, I couldn't. Video has been removed by a user or whatever. That's what happened. There's plenty of articles about it, and like I said, there's an article, and that will be in the info bar for you guys, which actually had the video in it. And guess what? That video was taken down. I don't understand what's going on. I don't. But I want to say to the fighting game community, that is a great thing to do because the article states that you guys went above and beyond to make sure that there was accessibility to this blind gamer so that he can play in the tournament. That is a great thing to see. And because I feel that it's a great thing, because there were so many problems this week with the fighting game community that I'm not going to focus on. I'm sure you guys all saw the comments with Mr. Wizard and about Evo and about Street Fighter vs. Tekken and about Persona, and I'm not going to get into it, all right? I'd rather focus on this positive thing. So just to say thank you to the fighting game community for making it accessible for that guy. I'm going to throw it back to when fighting games didn't have combos. That's right. Let's take a look real quick at Pit Fighter. not remember that fighting game in arcade? Come on, man. You know what? It was so great at the time. I'm sure now people play, they're like, man, this sucks compared to the mechanics we have. But that's what we had back then. You know what I mean? And we laughed about it. We didn't get frustrated and all pissed off. You know, if we lost, no. We just played. And you laughed about it because of how bad it was. You see that? I mean, come on. Anyways, I need to move on because Capcom, that's right, Capcom, is explaining how Resident Evil 6 will appeal to everyone. And you know what? On my end, not one single fuck was given at this point. I mean, I've seen enough, you know, of Resident Evil 6 to know if I want it or not. Personally, I'm staying away from it. If I do play it, I'll go over a friend's house and just do the co-op. I don't care. All right. And I know a lot of people were saying, well, it does have survival horror elements. Look at Leon's scenario. For what I've seen, it's not survival horror. All right. And I see a lot of fans coming out now and comparing survival horror, you know, survival horror games to this, and they're not happy about it. I mean, we've seen not too long ago Slender, Cry of Fear, which is a Half-Life mod. A lot of people consider that, you know, survival horror. You have was it Siren? You have that. You have Condemned. You have there's so many survival horror games that are just coming, you know, out of the woodwork that aren't getting the attention that it deserves. And then when you see these big budget, like I said, everyone wants to be Hollywood. I don't understand it. I just don't. You know what I mean? Like I said, if you plan on buying Resident Evil 6, that's on you. I've seen enough for me to say, no, I'm not buying it. That's just how it is for me. And I know that it's going to have all types of DLC and all this other crap. I don't care. I am happy, though, that they did decide to put Ada as an unlockable character. You know, so Capcom is trying to go back to how things were, hopefully. You know what I mean? We'll see what happens in the future. You know what I mean? Now, I want to move on, and some of you guys sent me some messages that I got to talk about. And this guy says he's a big Mega Man fan, all right? And he was talking about boycotts and companies. That's what we're talking about, all right? And it says, in fact, I think they originally found your videos because you cover things Capcom has done in the past in regards to the series. And needless to say, I've been fairly frustrated over the past few years, all right? So he's upset. It says, I've been not buying from Capcom since Legends 3 cancellation. Not for the cancellation itself, but rather because that was when Capcom disrespected their fans, got to be too much for me, and I had to walk away. So it's not exactly about the cancellation itself, but the way he treated those fans, as he's saying, all those people put in that work, you know what I mean? And you guys see it when the fans actually helped work on the project, and then they threw it away, you know, without even letting them see what any of the finished product looked like, you know? Yeah, so people were upset about that. It says, a question I have for you is, what do you think of this? In regards to that cancellation, I know some others have decided to boycott Capcom because of that cancellation alone. Well, that's not why I boycott Capcom. Not for that, but it doesn't help either. You know what I mean? It doesn't help either. But you know, but it says, but there are some people who look at those who boycott all of Capcom for that reason as whiners, entitled, and etc., which is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. But you know what? I'll get to that. It says, because there are people at Capcom who weren't involved with the Legends cancellation, and that refusing to buy from Capcom hurts those people and therefore unjust. If you are under that parent company, if you are dealing with Capcom, then you represent Capcom. All right, it's that simple. And we just talked about this not too long ago with other, you know, people who work in other, you know, companies. You represent that. You fall under that umbrella. This is why it is key that when whoever's at the top spot, when they decide to make these decisions, it affects everyone down. Understand, as they say, shit rolls downhill. This is exactly why. Everybody suffers. It's not just, you can't pick and choose who you want to suffer. It doesn't work that way in a company. And people who say that, it almost makes me feel like they don't have any work experience. That's what it makes me feel like. But let's keep going. It says, in fact, I have a quote from someone who thought like that. It says, I'm mostly having issues with whether I agree or not because before this, I was of the mindset that boycotting was a stupid idea because we are starving developers unrelated to Mega Man for canceling Mega Man Legends 3. And doing so would only cement our image as whining, crying, entitled babies who were rightly to blame for the Legends 3 cancellation and don't deserve Mega Man games. That's ridiculous. Alright? Yeah, I told you before, even developers who aren't under the Capcom umbrella, if they sign that contract to work with them, they know what they're getting themselves into. You have to be kidding me if you don't think developers look at the news just like we look at the news. You've got to be kidding me. All right? They know what they're getting themselves into, which is why when we did, now I call it for short, I call it Kings of Amalur. It says Kingdoms of Amalur. What did I say? They know what they're getting themselves into at EA, and look what happened to them. Exactly. They know what they're getting themselves into, but let's keep going. It says, that was taken from Destructoid comment section. I personally disagree completely with the mindset listed above, but I have to keep my comments on that to myself for now. I would like to know what you think about it, though. You have to understand, there is no reason for gamers whining, crying. Look, you know, we didn't hear these statements until the companies, until the media outlets started using them. And then all of a sudden, people started catching on like wildfire. They kept putting it out there and saying, this is what, you know, this is what's going to say. And then gamers started picking up on it. Now everyone's, if you complain a little bit, you're whining and crying. It's ridiculous. In the early 2000s, in the 90s, in the 80s, if something happened and someone had a legit complaint, guess what? That was it. Now, if someone's going around saying, oh, I hate you, blah, 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 and not giving a reason, that's whining and crying. It is, all right? Because you're not giving a reason. But if someone has a legit reason to not, you know, to not want to buy their games, then hey, that's it. That's their point. You know, they shouldn't be labeled whiners or criers. Don't you understand? If people don't speak up, nothing will get changed. That's what comes out. It takes a bigger person to say something than it does for someone to just sit back and be like, oh, you're just crying babies. I never understood where this mentality came from, that all of a sudden, if we use this 5th grade type culture where, oh, you're whining, you've got to be kidding me. What does that do? That solves nothing. All right? It's easy to gang up on somebody who's saying something, but it's harder for a person to actually, it takes more guts to stand up and say something than just jump in with the rest of the crowd and just say, you're whining. You've got to be kidding me. And this should also tell you the mentality of the companies and the media outlets before it even hits the gamers. It should tell you that. It should tell you the immaturity that they have. There's no reason why gamers should be treating each other this way. But as long as it happens, it goes in the company's favor. It goes in the industry's favor. Like I said, divide and conquer. All the time. We've seen this time and time again. And I'm sure I'll speak on this again. All right? But that's definitely what it is. I think it's wrong. All right? This is the problem with lack of communication. Some people don't even want to communicate. That's the thing. It's either their way or the highway. And a lot of companies are like that too. I'm not saying that companies have to listen to gamers all the time. I'm not saying that. All right? But also understand, if there's a legit concern, it really does have to be brought up. If you decide you want to boycott a company because of what happens, like I have my personal reasons. People have already seen what happened with Final Fight and things of that nature. The way they treated me when I went to the Better Business Bureau and they didn't even offer anything and they admitted they were wrong but would not rectify the situation. What's the point? What's the point? And yet you still want me to buy your digital products? I'll never buy another digital product from Capcom. Never. Ever. All right? Ever. Not until Final Fight thing is, you know, considered, because all he kept saying is, we're sorry, we're sorry, we're sorry. All right, well, where's that sorry getting me? Where is it getting me? How is it correcting the situation? It's not. We're sorry, but we're not going to fix it. Then why are you apologizing? It makes no sense. You know what I mean? There's a number of reasons why I personally boycott Capcom. A number of reasons, all right? Like I said, the treatment to consumers. I'm not talking gamers on forums who complain, you know, and then they decide, oh, they're just whining. I'm not talking about them guys, all right? Even though a lot of them have been unjustly banned and things of that nature too. I'm not talking about that, all right? It's just the outright disrespect of consumers when it comes to enterprise, and that's what it's about. A lot of these people do not look past their own nose when it comes down to this. That's why you see so many small-minded arguments between gamers. No, you have to look larger. Your scope has to be larger. It has to be, all right? You have to see how this is going to affect you and the community, because if you play games and you talk online, you're part of that community, and how it's going to go in the future. You have to understand that there are consequences to these type of things. If you support them, they will keep doing it. That's what it comes down to. And it seems like a lot of problems, and that's why it was so great to see, not just a couple months ago, where so many people were run to the FTC and the BB, you know, the Better Business Bureau for different, it wasn't just Capcom, but different companies as well, because they were putting them on their heels. They had got tired of it. It was great to see, you know. And what was the first thing they did? Instead of saying, okay, we understand, what's the first thing? You're crying. That was their first, that was the natural reaction. Their first defense. It wasn't, okay, we understand what you're saying. Let's see if we can, you know, build a rapport or some type of, you know, meet in the medium, you know, in the middle somewhere, generate a medium. No, it was, you're crying. And that told me a lot. And it's sad because we just talked about this not too long. I talked to a couple of you guys not too long ago about this. What happened between last generation and this generation that all of a sudden everyone's a douchebag? Why can't we get one full game without tactics and developers acting like idiots and, you know, CEOs trying pretty much letting you know how it's going to be, and if you don't like it, you can get the hell out. I remember when companies needed you. Now they just think you're expendable. That's what it comes down to. Sad part is what they fail to realize is that they're expendable too. That's why so many people get moved and constantly, and people quit and things, and they find a better job. Seth Killian, for example, he had it. He went to Sony. You know what I mean? As soon as he quit, we knew he was going to find another job. That wasn't going to be a problem for him. He went to Sony. You know what I mean? We've seen a number of people just leaving. It's not, listen, it's not just about Capcom. This is about a lot of companies. Lots of them. All right? And it just seems that it needs to be brought down a ton. It just needs to, dare I say, humble themselves. That's how I feel. It's just, it's ridiculous. There's no reason that we should have all these problems in gaming, especially when you have people outside of gaming who constantly throw dirt on us. If anything, that should make us stronger and come together, but it won't, because there's always going to be that, you don't like the game I like. It's the dumbest thing I've ever seen. It really is. And if all these people really do have a problem with what's going on, then why aren't they stepping up? Seriously, I don't understand this. But they'd rather sit around and complain and bitch and moan, and I'm saying it because they're not trying to do anything themselves. That's what it comes down to. Now, if you go on a forum or whatever, and you say, look, I think this company's wrong, and you give a good reason, you have every right to do that. You're actually bringing something to the table. You're bringing a discussion to the table. So you're doing something. You know what I mean? But then when you start making lies and bullshit about companies and people, what the fuck is wrong with you? Do you have nothing else better to do? But that's how the internet is. That's how you see difference between people who are immature, you know, and people who actually try to do something. And there's so many gamers out there who are trying to do something. And I want to talk about this right now, all right? So a person sent me something, says a gamer friend of mine is doing something, doing a charity for family. That's right. So it says, I know you mentioned in some of your videos and your fan page about gamers doing some forms of charity for certain causes. It says, I don't know if you've mentioned anything about gamers doing it for their own families, though. Okay, so this is for their own family. It says, in particular, a friend of mine is doing a charity for her mother who suffered a stroke a while back. And while she's trying to get some money to cover for her medical bills, this video sheds a little bit more light as to what is going on. So you know what? Let's take a look at that real quick and see exactly, because this person actually came out with a video. Yes, came out with a video, you know, and talked about their situation. So let's see the charity that they're trying to do.
Hey guys, Heather Mason 76 here. I've been kind of having a really tough time. My mom has too. Lately she's been kind of on the sick side, and I've been, you know, helping around the house and helping her out and stuff. So that's why I haven't been doing any streams and I haven't been doing any videos lately, and it's been taking me forever just to get Top 3 Tuesday out. But yeah, so I've been really busy helping my mom out, and basically between her bills and my bills, like, it's been really tough times lately. I hate to do this, but I don't really have a choice. Basically, the backstory is my mom had a stroke a few years back, a little bit more than a few years, like 5 years or so ago. And when she had the stroke, at the same time, my great-grandmother passed away shortly before that, and she had left my mom inheritance money. Well, she was working at a restaurant at some point, and she had coverage for some medical insurance or whatever, and apparently the medical insurance didn't cover her after she had her stroke because of the fact that she had more than $1,000 in her bank account. And to be honest, her bank account, even with the inheritance money, she didn't have a lot in there. She didn't get a lot of inheritance money, but she had basically just enough for them to go, well, we're not paying for your medical bills and we're not covering your insurance. So, yeah. So the whole week that my mom was in the hospital, along with the visits to the doctors and stuff, between that time, she was literally just getting billed for out of her pocket. And she's still paying for them now. Like, she can't work because of the stroke that she had and all the medications she's on, between blood thinners and everything else. And it's just, it's kind of really put a damper on her, especially because she can't, even though she makes a little bit more than even I do, because I work retail and I work full-time, she can't, it's still, you know what I mean, the money's still, you know, the bills are still there. She still hasn't, it's been 5 years and she still can't, you know, and she barely can get, you know, have any money herself. Like, basically she buys groceries at the beginning of the month, and then, you know, even then, like, we have to be careful with the money because she can't buy all of them, of course, at the beginning of the month, but she buys what she can for the first 2 weeks at least, and then most of the time by like the 3rd week of the month she doesn't have any money anymore, and I'm the one that's got to help her out with stuff. And then sometimes I don't even have any money, which is actually the case right now. But I'm gonna do this for my mom. I'm actually gonna do a charity drive for my mom on Friday. I'm starting it on my gaming stream at 5 p.m. and I'm doing it from Friday 5 p.m. to Saturday in the morning, and it'll help my mom out with her bills, hopefully, and it'll help my mom have a peace of mind, so that's one less thing to worry about. Plus, you know, that way we'll have money for her prescriptions and her doctor visits, and she's being covered by medical insurance now because of after the fact that she had a stroke. But the fact that she had the stroke and she was in the doctor's office and stuff, they didn't cover that. So my mom's still paying those kind of bills, and she's still paying parts of the bills from still going to doctor visits and stuff anyway. My mom and I don't drive, so we, you know, have to take a cab and sometimes metro, and most of the time for the clinic, if we can't get a ride, she has to take a cab, which was the case recently. And basically that was the last of my money till Friday. So luckily I have a friend actually pulling through and sending me some money today for me to be able to get my mom's prescription and bread. But I'm gonna do a charity drive on Friday for my mom, starting at 5 p.m. on my Twitch TV channel, which is www.twitchtv.com/WhoGirl2011. And I'm going to try to raise money. There is no goal. Literally, if I make 25 cents, it's 25 cents less on a bill that my mom has to pay. So I don't really care. And, you know, it's just, I really want to help my mom out as much as I possibly can. But there's only so much I can do when I'm trying to pay my own bills too, along with trying to help her out. So it's just, it's a mix of everything. Yeah, so I'm going to do the stream on, you know, starting at 5 o'clock on Friday. I'm going to have it where my chip in that's below normally for the regular donations to improve my cast and my stream is going to be reset back to 0, and it's going to be called Hugs for Who Girl's Mom. And so that way you can donate. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to give away some prizes. I'm going to have it where, like, the person that donates the most has first pick, and then second, and then the third. And then I'm going to include different things. Like one of them is going to be like a coupon offer to get a free plushie for me off my Etsy website, along with maybe possibly a custom-made plushie. I also have a huge custom-made Dalek plush that actually has a few voice boxes inside. It's like yay big. You can see how tall that is. It's like a small child. And I will ship that out as well. I'm going to make that one of the things to give away as well. Possibly some video games as well. So yeah. I'll be giving out certain things to people that are like the top donators. So, but we'll see how it goes. I mean, I'm not really expecting a lot, and I don't really want a huge amount anyway. I just want stuff to help get by for my mom, but whatever money's extra, I'm gonna help my mom with all the bills and whatever she possibly needs for stuff. So yeah, so you know, yeah, I hate doing this. I really do. Like, I feel really like bad about posting this kind of video up, but I really don't have a choice right now. Like, times are hard, and I know times are hard everywhere. Like, it's not just me, it's everybody. But it's like, even 25 cents will help. You know what I mean? But it's like, this is more so for my mom than for me. Because it's like, I'm helping her as much as I possibly humanly can. But it's like, I work 9 to 5, sometimes 8 to, 11 to 8, sometimes whatever. Because, of course, retail's not a set schedule. And they have you everywhere. And it's just like, I have to go home right after work because I have to make sure that she's feeling better and that she's eating food and that she's, doing whatever. So But yeah. So my mom has more testing on Thursday. We still don't know what they're going to do. They might even keep her in the hospital for a day or two, but we just have to wait and see. But yeah. But yeah, so thanks guys for watching, and hopefully spread the word out there. I mean, even if you're there just to watch the gaming stream, it'll still be cool to know that people are watching. So that'll be good, you know? Even if I get viewers, it'll be good. So I'm okay with it. If you've never been to my Twitch TV before, then just drop on by because it's super fun.
Now it says here that while that video dates back to June, late June of this year, it says she's doing another one right now until October 1st. So she is doing, you know, the Twitch TV type thing. I'll put the link in the info bar if you guys are interested in watching the stream of her playing video games. Okay, guys? Now I want to say that I'm done for the day. This is interesting. Guys, just understand that, like I said, within all the petty squabbles that happen, you have to understand that we are part of a bigger community. It is not just about you, me. It's not just about just one of us. It's not. But you have to understand that if we keep, and that's the sad part, because I see so many companies being defended, and those companies, they don't care about you. Some of these companies have come out and said they don't care. So I don't understand why you would defend them. They don't care. You know what I mean? They don't know who you are. But you have to understand that we are all we have when it comes to a gaming community. That's how it was always been. It has not been this bad until this generation. I don't know what it is, all right? I really don't. And I think that the internet, at one point, since there's so much anonymity, all right, it's giving people the heart to act, dare I say, cold. And then when you call them on it, they fold. Every time. That's what happens. I don't understand this. I think it's wrong. I mean, I don't understand why people have to be so spiteful, but you know what? That's part of life anyway. You're going to learn that in the real world. Once you finally get out there, you're going to learn that. All right? So to see people get so upset when it comes to, you know, fighting back and forth and, you know, video games, to me it's like, whatever. You know what I mean? It's whatever. Unless you're going to do something about it, it doesn't matter. You know? But at least there's a lot of us. And like I said, there's so many, not just me, there's so many YouTubers here who have something to say. You know what I mean? And or try to give you the news and try to do the right thing. They get flown under the radar, though. But yet I can see people I see on YouTube all the time, like Ray Williams Johnson or whatever that douchebag's name is. He can get in front of a green screen, do edits like everyone else does. I give it to you one take. They do edits in mid, you know, sentence, and people are just like, "Oh, this is great. This is great." I'm like, whatever, dude. Whatever. It don't matter. You know what I mean? And now that we're seeing, I want to talk about this. We're starting to see those large YouTubers. We're starting to see them try to get into gaming now. And then they try to say, well, I've always been a gamer. But they're not. You have to understand they're only doing it for views and money. All right? So as you can see, there's always somebody out there who's going to take that opportunity to exploit you. You have to understand. And so this is bigger than just a game that you like, or I just want to play games because I have fun. It's bigger than that now, man. If the business gets bigger, then you have to expand as well and realize what's going on. I'm not trying to make you look bad. All right? Unless you make yourself look bad and I call you on it. I'm not trying to make you look bad. What I'm trying to do is give you the tools. Like I said, that's why I leave the links in the info bar so that you can see it for yourself. It's not just me coming out and talking about things and saying that's it. And then you don't know what's going on. It's like, well, he must be right. No. I give you those things so that you can debate, so you can have a difference of opinion, so you can make the things for yourself. I always say that. I always give you that. All right? But you have to understand that there's a lot of people here who are not in the best interest of you. That's what it comes down to. If I say, look, this is how I feel about something, I don't think you should go, there's a reason why I do that. It's because I really believe, I'm not trying to BS you, I really believe that this is going to become a problem down in the future. That's why. Not because, you know, I have some type of personal spite against somebody. It's stupid. Why would I do that? Why would I have a personal vendetta against somebody on the internet that I don't know? Why would I do that? That's stupid. I got better things to do with my time. But I will say, guys, that this video, I'm going to let you guys know now, will be the last video for a while, for a couple weeks. And you say, what's going on, Event? I'm moving, all right? And haters, they're going to be mad, man, because I'm moving to a very nice part, one of the most richest parts in Philadelphia. That's right, and I'll say it right now, Rittenhouse Square. Anybody knows about it, you know what it's about. I'll be moving in a couple weeks, so I need the time to pack and things of that nature. This is going to be a great thing. Like I said, things are moving for me. Like I said, I deal with a lot of things in the outside world. I take care of my business in the real world as opposed to online. So all these guys come, there's nothing but online, blah, blah, blah. Look, dude, when you start getting on the news stations, when you start making moves like me, then you can talk. Until then, it doesn't matter. All right? And this has nothing to do with videos. All right? Nothing. I'm talking real life. That's the difference. That's why I don't take that shit seriously when y'all start running your mouths like that. You know what I'm saying? It's just amazing. It's great. But you know what? I'm done. Hopefully I'll do a sports video. I'm not sure. Like I said though, I need the time. I will do gameplay videos still though. You know what I mean? Like, because I can sit down and play for a little bit, 10, 15 minutes, half hour, and show you guys something. That's not a big deal. I can still do those, all right? But to take the time and do these type of videos, seriously, I gotta get packing. I gotta do things, man. I move on September 1st, first of the month. You know what I'm saying? I'm moving first of the month. That doesn't leave me a lot of time. So I'll talk to y'all later. Y'all be safe. And like I said, I'm not quitting. I'm not going anywhere, baby. We just moving location. We going to set it back up. We get back to work. I'll talk to you then. Y'all be safe. I'm out.